Hey, thank you for joining us. My name is Dr. Richard Jin, the founder and CEO of RJ Clinical Institute. We are the exclusive West Coast training partner for Miracu Threads. Thanks for joining us. Today I'm going to show you the Miracle Lift, which is a totally non-invasive regenerative lifting procedure. So as you know, we'll be using the Miracu Threads and we'll be performing the Miracle Lift, right? Which is one non-invasive, it's regenerative, and it'll take years off your face, all right? Great. I know we spoke earlier and we talked about these problem areas, and we talked about a little bit of heaviness here and your nasolabial folds and just how this is all kind of sagged and drooped down. And the great thing about the Miracle Lift is we can accomplish all of these lifting, tightening, right? And just pulling back this tissue in a nice, subtle, natural way, and you're just gonna love it.
So we're going to use the FrozenC in order to initiate a comfortable experience for the patient. For the injection site itself,
right along this line here.
Okay, so I'm going to go along the line for the doctor. What this does is it creates a comfortable experience by disrupting nerve signal. It's also antimicrobial. It will minimize swelling and bruising as well. And so we minimize edema, and we actually help to reduce inflammation for the patient. We can mitigate bruising.
So we'll start with the lower jawline going into the jowl. Again, this is the 1770 line thread, the dual-coated PDO thread with the true anchoring tip. What we want to do is, we've already made our insertion point here, and with the bevel up, we're going to insert the PDO thread into the skin. What we want to do is maintain the depth, or same depth, throughout the actual vector itself, and in order to do that, we continually tent the skin and insert throughout. We're tenting the skin here, and we want to maintain that depth. The basic feel, you want to have a dull feeling of where the tip is. You never want to feel that it's sharp, because that means you're too superficial. And now you see with this thread itself, we've actually come all the way down to the hub, and we know with the line thread, with that anchoring tip, this is where it is, and this is exactly where it's going to stay. One of the nuances of this line thread is the fact that because of the anchoring tip and the way that it's manufactured, there's a little safety on the back of it. Unlike the other threads that we'll be using today, this is a thread that once it's in place here, you're going to apply pressure distally. You're not going to twist or spin, because that may add some shear stress onto the actual PDO itself. Rather, you're going to add pressure distally here, and you're going to wiggle back out, like so. So that's the insertion of the first PDO thread, and just to show you how strong it is, without even massaging or anything like that, you can already see the amount of pull that we have and how strong it is. So what I like to do is have all of my PDO threads in place on both sides, and then at the very end, with the Miracu PDO threads, we're able to really contour and really help shape the face and achieve symmetry. The second thread is the Forte line thread, and this actually is an 18 gauge 100 length thread. The Forte thread is a molded thread which is very, very strong. I typically use a combination of both the Forte and the line threads to achieve optimal results. So as we made the entry points with our 16 gauge needle, we can see it's still here. It's right along the hairline, right? Bevel up with the actual PDO thread to get it in, and we're going to pinch along as we apply some pressure. So we're almost here at the very end. We're right about there, almost meeting the very end or beginning of the nasolabial fold. Okay. Unlike a line thread, which was inserted holding pressure distally without spinning or turning. The forte thread is a little different. It's more conventional in the sense that you hold pressure distally and you twist and turn as you come out. Again, using the same technique and principles of the other two, we have our insertion point. You can still see here. Bevel up with the cannula and pinching and tenting the skin to get our cannula in. And we're going to go right along this line here. So pinch. We're down here now. Again, pressure distally, and this you can twist and turn as you pull out. So we've completed our one side, lower jaw with the line thread, mid face with the forte, and more of a lifting effect with another forte thread.
I'm using the FrozenC right now to cool down the tissue post Dr. Jin's insertion of Miracu Threads. We're going to cool the tissue for a total of 3 minutes for an entire application of cryotherapy that's focused and local, like literally having your own cryotherapy center in the palm of your hands.
You talked about the nasolabial folds, and we've been able to really soften and improve those with the mid and lower face lift, right? Doing the Miracle lift. But what we want to do is we want to use the mesh fill, which again are really cool, innovative threads. It's a cannula shaped PDO consisting of 16 individual PDO threads, all wrapped in a cylindrical fashion. These are 16 individual threads. The actual tip of the mesh fill, it's a cannula. It's all made out of PDO, right? Remember what we talked about in the beginning, non-invasive, regenerative. So all of this, when it dissolves, collagen will basically fill in and around it, creating volume, right? So in terms of the mesh fill here, what we want to be able to do is insert it up to about this point there. And this in itself will create volume right there. But what we'll do is we'll add a little bit of filler just to help fill in that mesh fill, just to help support it a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. So now that we've numbed our tracks, I want to just show you how simple and easy it is to use the mesh fill. Right. This is our 1 cc syringe of filler. It's very easy. You just screw it on like you would any other cannula needle. Relax, relax. What we're going to do is go right along here, entry point, right up to about that point there. And the important thing is once we get to that end point, we're going to apply a little bit of pressure distally. And as we apply pressure distally, we're going to do a retrograde fill, meaning pressure, and as we're pulling back, we're going to be depressing some of the filler. It's probably going to take about 0.25 cc's of filler to fill this area. You're more than welcome to use a little bit more if you need a little more volume, but she looks pretty good. I think about 0.25 to 0.3 will do it for her. Okay, so entry point there. Up. And there's our distal tip. Pressure distally. And I am adding filler as I'm pulling back. And a lot of times you'll feel a little click or you'll feel a give. This is already free. So once you're at this point, you're free of the mesh fill itself. So I'm applying a little pressure as I'm coming back. was 0.3. Insertion. Up. Right about there. There we go. And we've been able to successfully use the mesh fills and a little bit of filler to be able to really help with the nasolabial fold. This works beautifully when you use it in conjunction with the line and the Forte threads to provide that lift. This just adds a little bit more of that difference that really helps soften the nasolabial folds.
So we're going to go ahead and clean you off and finish up with the FrozenC to help to reduce bruising, swelling, and post-procedure discomfort. The FrozenC is clinically proven to improve tone, texture. It even helps with some moderate dyschromia. And to take the tissue all the way down to about 6 degrees Celsius. Adds constant temperature monitoring so you never get too cold.
How was that?
It was good. I mean, it really was a very different experience than what I was expecting. You know, I've watched a few of the procedures done, and this was unbelievable. I would suggest for someone to get it done. It was amazing, absolutely amazing.
The amazing thing is we were really able to, with the use of the Miracu threads, be able to lift and contour and really redefine and shape your lower jawline, but also be able to pull up your jowls, right? And with the utilization of the mesh fill to be able to fill in some of that volume that you needed there, but not make it look unnatural, right? The great thing about it is you have these subtle lift and pulling back, and it looks so natural. It's who you are, and that's what we want to maintain.
Thank you.